Number 1 is Look Sinja, owned by Cindy Swagler, with Roy Wilson driving. The 2 is Give Up Some Bluegrass, owned by Ron Barker, with Dave Hawk. Number 3 is Pipe Creek Pumpkin, owned by Timothy Lee, with Dan Noble. 4 is Josie Sharp, owned by Terrell and Clark, Darren Mauser in the sulky. 5 is Lady Slapstick. She's owned by Vernon Byers Jr. with Chip Noble. 6 on the post side of town, owned by Green and Avery, Todd Jones. 7 is out. The 8 is Fox Valley Lioness, owned by Sturgill Pollock and Byrne, Kane Kaufman. And farther back to the 9, Sun Devil Express. She's owned by Robert Wilson with Greg Grismore. 7 minutes to post time. Pacers are lined up in the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off in the opener, away rather evenly. Look Sinja from the inside is out quickly, and there goes Sun Devil Express from the far outside. Give Up Some Bluegrass is also up close with Josie Sharp from alongside. A length and a quarter back to Pipe Creek Pumpkin, who drops in 5th. 2.5 lengths more to Lady Slapstick on the post side of town, and Fox Valley Lioness is last. Moving around ahead stretch for the first time, and Greg Grismore, intent on the lead, takes over with Sun Devil Express. Look Sinja, Josie Sharp, Give Up Some Bluegrass, followed by Pipe Creek Pumpkin, opening quarter 27-4. Passing the stands for the first time, Sun Devil Express. Here's Josie Sharp up to challenge and looking to take over. Look Sinja in the pocket 3rd. Give Up Some Bluegrass out early from 4th. Pipe Creek Pumpkin along the inside 5th. A length and a half more to Lady Slapstick on the post side of town is second last. And the trailer is Fox Valley Lioness. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime. And Josie Sharp is your new leader. It's Josie Sharp in command here. From Sun Devil Express in second. Give Up Some Bluegrass first over in third. Halftime 58-3. Along the rail, Look Sinja is hemmed in 4th. Only 2.5 from the lead. Second over, Pipe Creek Pumpkin on the outside, moving up from 5th. Third over is on the post side of town in 6th position. Followed next by Lady Slapstick, and Fox Valley Lioness brings up the rear. 7 lengths off the pace setter, Josie Sharp. Heading into the far turn, Josie Sharp widens her advantage to 2.5 lengths now. Leaving Sun Devil Express behind in second. Give Up Some Bluegrass stalled in third. 3 wide Pipe Creek Pumpkin, and 4 wide on the far outside on the post side of town, but that one still has 4.5 to make up. 3 quarters in 1:28-4. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and Josie Sharp kicks clear now to lead by 3.5 lengths. From Sun Devil Express, who's laboring in second. Outside Pipe Creek Pumpkin. Look Sinja shakes loose with on the post side of town. Inside of 16th, it's Josie Sharp. In front by 3 lengths, and they're closing in fast. Lady Slapstick the outside, Look Sinja the rail, but they won't get to Josie Sharp. Lady Slapstick and Look Sinja 3rd. Moving back into the winner's circle is Josie Sharp, a 6-year-old bay mare by Look Sharp out of Anna's Lady by Noble Land Sam, owned by the partnership of M.A. Terrell and K.M. Clark of Ohio. Darren Mauser trains and drives the winner. She scores her 5th victory on the season, 2 minutes flat, tying her lifetime best. And ladies and gentlemen, please note the judges have posted the inquiry sign. It's to investigate possible violation of the super stretch rule, going inside the pylons, approaching the super stretch. Please hold all tickets. Exacted trifecta wagering, no changes. Here they are. 1 is Lore Bob, owned by Walters and Norman. Bob Harper drives. 2 is Shakari Patel's Come and Cheer. Marty Willem in the bike. Number 3 is JR, owned by Snelling and the Seville Farm. Terry Holton. 4 is Laser Taz, owned by Richard Smith with Bill Irvin. Back up to the 5, Rosetta's Sergio, by Brookends 4 Racing, Ron Steck. The 6 horse, McGeehee, is owned by Mary Dye and Mark Winters. Mark Winters is in the sulky. And the 7 horse is Captain Kiss, owned by Jerry Zossel and Kathy Ratcliffe with Sandy Beatty. 7 minutes to post time. They're off and trotting, very scattered at the start. Lore Bob takes an easy lead, opens up 2 on JR in second. McGeehee, center of the course, third. Also going off stride, Come and Cheer. Then we have Rosetta Sergio driving down to the inside, and Captain Kiss, the practical trailer, is 5th of the top flight. Moving around the far turn to the top of the stretch, and it's Harper leading the way with Lore Bob. Lore Bob by a length and a half. Tracked by JR in the pocket second. McGeehee drops in third. Rosetta Sergio and Captain Kiss at the opening quarter. It's Lore Bob there in 30 and 4. Passing the stands for the first time. Lore Bob is on the point. Leads it by 2. From JR in second. McGeehee first over, gaining on the outside third. Span of 3. Rosetta Sergio, Captain Kiss. 8 lengths back to Come and Cheer. And far, far back is a very rank Laser Taz as they enter the clubhouse turn. Lore Bob, 3 parts of a length. McGeehee to his flank now in second. Length and a half back, and we come down to JR, a ground-saving third. 2 lengths more to Rosetta Sergio, Captain Kiss, and then Come and Cheer has just about caught the field as they pass halftime in 102 and 3. Rounding the turn into the backstretch. Lore Bob with a neck in front. McGeehee pressing from the outside second. Gap of 2. JR a patient third. 2 more lengths and we come to Rosetta Sergio in fourth. Then it's Captain Kiss with about 6 to make up, followed by Come and Cheer, and still in front of the grandstand is Laser Taz. 5/16 of a mile left as they point for the far turn. Lore Bob trying to shake off McGeehee, but he won't go away. JR is just in behind. Rosetta Sergio is off the cones, followed by Captain Kiss, and Come and Cheer made another break. 3/4 in 132 and 2. Moving around ahead stretch. It's Lore Bob by a length. McGeehee still there on the outside, followed by JR. Trying to come on from the far outside is Rosetta Sergio as they trot through the final 8th mile. Lore Bob gets some urging, still leads by a length and a half. McGeehee a relentless second. Rosetta Sergio the far outside. Lore Bob is desperate. Here's Rosetta Sergio. Those two hit the wire together with McGeehee third. He's a 3-year-old bay colt by Overcomer out of Rosetta's Speed by Baltic Speed. Owned by Brookends 4 Racing of Westerville, Ohio. Ron Steck, the winning trainer-driver, pilots Rosetta Sergio to victory here in 2:03 flat. Again, this series sponsored by Steeplechase Village Rentals. $5-1 exact is $66.80. The trifecta 5-1-6, $192.60. One is Ms. Mulan, owned by Harold Breidenbach. Greg Grismore drives. Number 2 is Hidden Affair, owned by Thomas Morrow. She's driven by Don Feaster. 3 is Jates Solar E, owned by Alan Adams with Kyle Ader. 4 is Nukes Rosie, owned by Connie Messler and Jim Daly. Jim Daly drives. 5 is Jenna's Beach Star, owned by Robert Cope Stables with Jeff Fout. 6 Lingo, debuts for Harold Walters with Darren Mauser. 7 Heaven's Lock, owned by Edwin Ledman with Jamie Dunlap. The 8 is Justin's Countess, owned by Reveille Jade Stable, Burke Lyons. 9 Tucson Smitty, owned by Linda Smith with Jack Daly. And the 10 horse is Noble Streak. She's owned by John Wiley and driven by Dave Hawk. Post time now in 6 minutes. Third race field lined up and set to go. They're off, again scattered at the start. Nukes Rosie from between horses. Heaven's Luck from alongside. Jate Solary comes away in third. Miss Mulan nearest the rail, then a gap of 4 to Noble Streak. Justin's Countess is 6 off the early pace. 2 in front of Hidden Affair. Jenna's Beach Star looks to take a tuck. Then 3 more to Tucson Smitty, and Off-Stride Lingo is back trailing the field. Moving around to the top of the stretch for the first time. On the inside, Heaven's Luck looks to give way early to Jate Solary. Jate Solary and Kyle Ader take over at the quarter in a fast 28-1. Passing the stands for the first time, Jate Solary looks sharp, is on top here by 2 lengths. Tracked by Heaven's Luck in the pocket second, Nukes Rosie third. Ms. Mulan stays in fourth, 2 clear of Noble Streak. Hidden Affair looks to flush cover. Justin's Countess nearest the rail. Moving up second over Jenna's Beach Star, followed by Tucson Smitty, and Lingo remains last but looks to advance on the outside. Moving around to halftime, on the lead, it's Jate Solary. Halftime, 58-3. Rounding the turn into the backstretch, Jate Solary comfortable on the lead. Settled down here, leads it by a length. Ms. Mulan is first over, gaining in second. Heaven's Luck in the pocket third. Second over, Hidden Affair in striking range now fourth. Nukes Rosie shuffle back fifth. Third over, Jenna's Beach Star looks to advance from sixth position. Noble Streak is hemmed in at the rail in seventh, followed by Tucson, Smitty Lingo, and Justin's Countess is last. 9 lengths cover the field as they hit the 3/4. It's Jate Solary on top of half. Ms. Mulan from the outside. Heaven's Luck, Hidden Affair, Nukes Rosie 127-3. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and it's still Jate Solary holding on to the lead 3/4 of a length from Ms. Mulan on the outside. Heaven's Luck ducks down to the passing lane, followed by Nukes Rosie, who needs racing room, and Hidden Affair on the far outside. Inside is 16, Jate Solary, Ms. Mulan. Heaven's Luck at the rail. Jate Solary, Ms. Mulan gets up to score. Finishing second, Jate Solary with Heaven's Luck and Nukes Rosie. Winner of the third race, Ms. Mulan. A 3-year-old bay filly by Dragon's Lair out of Lodestar Hanover by Albatross. Owned by Harold Breidenbach of Lima, Ohio. Brad Crates, the winning trainer. Greg Grismore, the winning driver. 157 flat, a new lifetime best for Ms. Mulan. Welcoming representatives with Robert Half in the winner's circle to make the trophy presentation in the third race. 1-3 exact to 124.80. The Super is a $1 ticket. The straight 1374 gets you $4,674.50. Sponsored by Steeplechase Village Rentals. 1 is J.L. Ross, owned by Ross Bateman with Charlie Schoonover. The 2 is Benzilla, owned by Jack Tremonti and El Melanax with Kelly O'Donnell. 3 is Rose Run Condo, owned by Fred and Pete Polk with Dave Hawk. The 4 is Rhinestone Ring and Bell, owned by Tom Ryan and Doug Ryan the driver. 5 is Rose Run Cecil, owned by Roger Wallace with Sandy Beatty. 6, Striking Sid, owned by Bob Sidley. Jamie Dunlap drives. And 7 is Well Here I Am, owned by Thomas Nurmi with Bill Irvin. 7 minutes. They're off. 2 of them lagged off the gate. Rose Run Condo and J.L. Ross. It's Benzilla from the inside out quickly, joined by Rhinestone Ring and Bell from alongside. The gap is 2 lengths, and we come farther back to Striking Sid. Well, Here I Am is driving up on the far outside after the lead. Then it's Rose Run Cecil down at the rail. Gap of 2 to Rose Run Condo, and 3 more to the trailer J.L. Ross. Moving around to the head of the stretch, off-stride Rhinestone Ring and Bell, and leading the way, it's Benzilla. Benzilla puts Well Here I Am in the pocket, followed by Rose Run Cecil and Striking Sid, opening quarter 29-4. Passing the stands for the first time, and it's Benzilla calling the shots here. Benzilla from Well Here I Am second, gapped out 2 lengths. Rose Run Cecil in third. Striking Sid is fourth. Rose Run Condo back to the outside in fifth, followed by J.L. Ross, and Rhinestone Ring and Bell has now caught the field. Trails 9 off the tempo setter, Benzilla, who leads the way around the clubhouse turn. It's Benzilla, Well Here I Am second, Rose Run Cecil third. First over, Rose Run Condo gaining ground from fourth, still about 5 off the tempo setter. Then we come down to Striking Sid, J.L. Ross, and Rhinestone Ring and Bell. 102-4 for the half, 33 seconds on the second quarter. Benzilla, unchallenged up the backside, leads it 2.5. Rose Run Condo with a full head of steam drives up into second. Well, Here I Am gapped out now, back to third. Up alongside Rose Run Cecil is racing in fourth. Followed next by Striking Sid, J.L. Ross, and Rhinestone Ring and Bell. But it's Benzilla to three quarters, 1:33.1. Moving around to the head of the stretch. Benzilla by 2 lengths. Rose Run Condo in second, and that one's back out looking to challenge. 2.5 more to Rose Run Cecil, followed by Well, Here I Am and Striking Sid as they make their way into the stretch. And it's Benzilla still on top, but here's Rose Run Condo closing on the outside second. Rose Run Cecil is third, coming inside the 16th, and Benzilla has something left, and Benzilla is going to win it by 2.5 lengths. Rose Run Condo and Rose Run Cecil. Benzilla, 2 wins and 3 lifetime starts for the 3-year-old bay colt by Armbro Elliott. Out of Charity by Bonefish, owned by Jack Tremonti and Ed Mellanax. Kelly O'Donnell, the trainer driver, 203-2 for Benzilla. We'd like to congratulate all of our honorary winners, especially Jeff Siders, the owner of Benzilla in the 4th race. Four, 7. And right now we're going to throw it down to the winner's circle. And our marketing and publicity director, Ann Doolin. 1 is Bye Bye Sydney, owned by Kim Dingledine. Jim Daly drives. 2 is the A-Train, owned by Larry Morgan and driven by Tony Hall. 3 is Big Sky Country, owned by David Cooper. Mark Winters in the bike. 4 is Lightning Killeen, owned by Powell and Vickroy. Robert Vickroy. 5, Cemetery Ridge, owned by Glenn Preston Addy with Dave Hawk. 6, Holding It Together, owned by Richard Bunting with Jeff Fount. 7 is My Siren, owned by William Kale with Jeff Nysonger. The 8 is Nero's Trojan, owned by Michael Wilson with Roy Wilson. And the 9 is Call Me Roy, owned by Connie Messler with Tony Rose. 6 minutes to post time for race 5. They're all on gate, ready for the start. And they're off. Perfect beginning. The A-Train for the early lead. Cemetery Ridge, Big Sky Country ducks down to the rail. A length and a half back to Bye Bye Sydney, followed by Lightning Killeen, who's about 7 off the early pace. 2.5 more to Holding It Together, My Siren. Nero's Trojan and Call Me Roy is last. Moving around to the top of the stretch for the first time. The A-Train was taken up sharply, but still drives up to challenge Cemetery Ridge for command. Just in behind is Big Sky Country and Bye Bye Sydney by the opening quarter, 28-1. In front of the stands for the first time, and Tony Hall takes the A-Train to the front. The A-Train now by 2. Cemetery Ridge drafting along in second. Big Sky Country is third. As Lightning Killeen moves up first over on the outside in fourth, yet to hit his best gear though. Then we come to Bye Bye Sydney, Holding It Together, My Siren, Nero's Trojan, and Call Me Roy. Moving around the turn on their way to halftime, and now going off stride on the lead is the A-Train. The A-Train off stride into the infield, and that leaves it up to Cemetery Ridge to take over in 58-4. Rounding the turn into the backstretch, Cemetery Ridge a length and a quarter. Big Sky Country, Bye Bye Sydney, 3 wide charging up down the backstretch is On the outside, Nero's Trojan. Then we come down to the rail, and My Siren, clogging the outer tier, was Lightning Colleen, holding it together, and Call Me Roy approaching 3/4. Cemetery Ridge on the inside has a stiff challenge from Bye Bye Sydney, who puts a neck in front. 3/4 in 1:28.3. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and Bye Bye Sydney now edges clear from Cemetery Ridge, who gives up the lead in second, followed by Big Sky Country, who's taken to the outside third, and then we have My Siren, Nero's Trojan between horses, and Call Me Roy on the far outside with a long way to come, but Bye Bye Sydney is opened up by 4 now. Big Sky Country is rallying, Cemetery Ridge is all done, followed by My Siren and Call Me Roy, but the 5th race belongs to Bye Bye Sydney by 3, Big Sky Country and My Siren third. Back to the winner's circle is Bye Bye Sydney. 2 wins on the season for the 9-year-old big eldest son of Sydney Hill out of Rachel by Overkill, or by Kim Dingledine of Mechanicsburg, Ohio. Jim Daly trains and drives. 1:57.3 is season's best for Bye Bye Sydney. One 3 exact to 54th on the track for tonight's 6th race, sponsored by Steeplechase Village Rentals. Here's a look at the field. 1 is Dr. Schnell, owned by John Cantrell, with Dan Reynolds driving. The 2 is Look Mom Look, owned by Cameron Morrow, Farrington, and Justin, Don Feaster. Number 3 is Jack Tremonti's 5 Carat Diamond and Kelly O'Donnell. 4 is High Kevin, owned by Tish and Kevin Cross, Kurt Sugg. 5 is Magoo's Messenger, owned by the Parkview Stables with Chip Noble. The 6 is Glory Bound, owned by Hodden Shapiro and Groden, Jeff Fout. And the 7 is Ashwood Marty, owned by the Ashwood Farm with Dave Hawk. 7 minutes, now 6 minutes to the 6th. There they go. And they're off. Even start. Glory Bound from the outside. 5 Carat Diamond along the inside. Look Mom Look comes away in third, just in front of High Kevin. Up alongside is Ashwood Marty. Then we come down at the rail, Dr. Schnell, and 2 back to Magoo's Messenger, who's last. Moving around to head stretch for the first time, Glory Bound. But here's Ashwood Marty charging up from the back of the pack. 5 Carat Diamond just in behind, races in third, followed by Look Mom Look, High Kevin, Dr. Schnell, and Magoo's Messenger. Quarter time, 29 seconds flat. Trotting past the stands for the first time, Glory Bound on the inside has a challenge from Ashwood Marty alongside, and those two are hooked up, and Ashwood Marty and Hawk look to drop into the pocket there as Glory Bound drives through with the lead. Then we have 5 Carat Diamond in third, gap of 2 to Look Mom Look. 2 more to High Kevin, 3 more to Dr. Schnell, and Magoo's Messenger is last. Glory Bound on the lead. Halftime, 58-3, 29-3 on the second quarter. Racing around the turn into the backstretch. It's Glory Bound on top. Here's Look Mom Look up on the outside. Ashwood Marty is just in behind. Moving on the outside, second over is High Kevin, only about 3 off the tempo in fourth position. Next we come down to 5 Carat Diamond, and 4 lengths back to the pair of trailers, Dr. Schnell and Magoo's Messenger. 5/16 left as they enter the far turn. Glory Bound still on top. Look Mom Look got a bit rough there. Ashwood Marty is gapped in the pocket. High Kevin will have to go 3 wide. 5 Carat Diamond is at the rail. 1:28 flat for 3/4. Moving around to head stretch, and it's still Glory Bound on the lead. Glory Bound, Ashwood Marty second. 5 Carat Diamond, Look Mom Look is all through, and High Kevin is looking for a way out as they trot through the stretch. Glory Bound, under-urging, leads by a length. Ashwood Marty is trying to close off stride 5 Carat Diamond, but the 6th race belongs to Glory Bound by 3 lengths. Ashwood Marty and High Kevin third in 1:58.4. A brown colt by Queen's Guard out of Ambernath. by Dream of Glory. By the partnership of Houghton, Shapiro, and Groden, D. Houghton trains Jeff Out, the winning driver, 158-4 for Glory Bound. $0.40. For race 7, one is Smokin' Pixie by Nelson Miller, Doug Hunt the driver. The 2 is Zerk, owned by the SmackDown stable with Todd Jones. Number 3, Rigidorous, is owned by the Newcastle stable with Chip Noble driving. 4 is Brittany Farms, Local Authority, and Jeff Out. 5, Swingtown, owned by Paul Simpson with Jim Daly. 6, Wildwood Joe, owned by James Pichachero with Rick Heitman. And the 7 horse is Deceiver Hall, owned by John Howard and Jay Corey, Dave Hawk. 7 minutes to post. There they go. They're off. Zerk shows expected early speed. Local Authority from alongside. Deceiver Hall from 3 wide. Rigidorous comes away in 4th. 3 in front. Swingtown, Wildwood Joe. Back marker early on is Smokin' Pixie. Moving around to head stretch for the first time, and it's Zerk on the lead. Zerk from Local Authority, who looks to maybe drive up now, and is angled off the cones by Jeff Out and up to challenge for command. 2 lengths back to Deceiver Hall in 3rd, followed by Rigidorous in 4th. Opening quarter, 28 seconds flat. Passing the stands for the first time, and now Local Authority is on top. Local Authority is opened up by 2. Zerk is back to 2nd. Same margin, Deceiver Hall is 3rd. Rigidorous is 4th. 2 in front of Swingtown. Gap of 3, Smokin' Pixie, and Wildwood Joe trails the field. 12 lengths cover the field as they race around the turn on their way to halftime. It's Local Authority leading the way. Local Authority, Zerk in 2nd. Deceiver Hall, Rigidorous, Smackdown, Smokin' Pixie, and Wildwood Joe looks to advance from the tail end as they reach the half in 57-4. Down the backstretch, just over 3/8 out, and it's Local Authority on top here. Local Authority by 2. Zerk in 2nd. Deceiver Hall a patient 3rd. Rigidorous 4th. Smackdown 5th. Wildwood Joe still seeking cover in 6th, and Smokin' Pixie remains the trailer. Approaching 3/4, Local Authority, but here's Deceiver Hall to take him on from the outside. Zerk is gapped in 3rd. Rigidorous is out for the drive in 4th. Smackdown, Wildwood Joe, and Smokin' Pixie 3/4 in 127-1. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and it's Local Authority. Deceiver Hall to his flank in 2nd, followed by Zerk at the rail as they drive through the stretch. And Local Authority just about goes down there and causes Zerk to go off stride. Deceiver Hall cruises to the lead, and Deceiver Hall opens up now by 3. Local Authority, Swingtown a late move. Deceiver Hall wins at 156. Cam Best out of Dirty Lives by Annihilator, by John Howard and Jay Corey of Morgantown, West Virginia. Virgil Morgan Jr. is the winning trainer, and Dave Hawk is the winning driver. New lifetime best, Deceiver Hall, 156. Trotting hobbles. For tonight's 8th race, now on the track, exacted trifecta, pick 3 wagering in the 8th. Dallas Miller drives 7, Rachel's Rival. The 1 is Marcel Lass. Owned by Westgate Motors, Chip Noble drives, Marcel Lass equipped with trotting hobbles. 2 is Gambling Willie, owned by Ellen Matthews, Robert Matthews drives. 3 is Matt and Zeke, owned by Brent Davis with Dave Hawk. 4 is Starfire Action, owned by Raider and Pollock, Kane Kaufman. 5 is Let Lisa Come Over, owned by Davis and Davis, Kurt Sugg. The 6, Shipshiana, by Nelson Miller, Doug Hunt, the driver. And the 7 is Rachel's Rival, owned by the Bullyard Farm of Indiana, with Del S. Miller. 7 minutes to race 8. Eighth race trotters in the backstretch. There they go. And they're off. Matt and Zeke from between horses. Rachel's Rival from the far outside leaves well, along with Starfire Action. Marcel Lass comes away in 4th. 3 in front of Gambling Willie, followed by Let Lisa Come Over, and Shipshiana drops back into last place. 15 lengths off the tempo setter, Rachel's Rival, who opens up 2 lengths early on Matt and Zeke in 2nd. Gap of 3, Starfire Action, followed by Marcel Lass, Gambling Willie, Let Lisa Come Over, and Shipshiana. Opening quarter, very brisk, 27-4, as they trot in front of the stands for the first time, with Rachel's Rival leading the way. Rachel's Rival from Matt and Zeke in 2nd. The gap is then 2, Starfire Action 3rd. 2 more to Marcel Lass. Gap of 3, Let Lisa Come Over begins her grind from the back of the pack. And then it's Gambling Willie, and Shipshiana is the trailer. As heads turn for halftime, it's Rachel's Rival on the lead. Rachel's Rival, Matt and Zeke 2nd, Starfire Action. Marcel Last is first over, and that one gives cover to Let Lisa Come Over. Another 2.5 lengths farther back to Gambling Willie, and Shipshiana is trailed throughout halftime, 58-3. Trotting down the backstretch, it's Rachel's Rival a half a length in front. Marcel Lass up to her flank in 2nd. A length farther back to the outside. Let Lisa Come Over has worked her way in a 3rd. Matt and Zeke has had the rail ride the whole way in 4th. Up alongside is Starfire Action, and 5 back to the pair of trailers, Gambling Willie and Shipshiana, 3/4, 128-4. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and Marcel Lass wears down Rachel's Rival, but now has Let Lisa Come Over to contend with. Starfire Action tries to rally from 4th as they make their way into the stretch. It's Marcel Lass leading at 3 parts of a length, but Let Lisa Come Over is trotting strong on the outside. 3 farther back to Starfire Action and Rachel's Rival. Marcel Lass begging for the line. Let Lisa Come Over on the outside. Those two are going to hit the wire together, and it's too tight to call between Let Lisa Come Over and Marcel Lass, finishing 3rd. Starfire Action. And the 8th race is now official. $5-1 exacted, $36.80. The try, $5-1 for it, $278.60. Back in the winner's circle, Let Lisa Come Over. 4-year-old Baymare by Overcomer out of Lisa Mack by final score. Owned by Dean Davis and Scott Davis of Ohio. Kurt Sugg trains and drives the winner, Let Lisa Come Over, 158-4. Here they are for the 9th race. 1 is Bearcat Sabra, owned by Sugg and Davis. Kurt Sugg drives. 2, A Little Bit Rowdy, is owned by Roy Mac Davis, Dave Hawk. 3 is Heart of Gold Cosmos, owned by Gary Reynolds with Dan Reynolds driving. The 4 is Lookout Blazer, owned by Colors Hope and Rice, Tom Hope drives. 5, Ask Me About It, owned by Parker and Berger, Dean Collins. 6 horse is Doug's Buy, owned by Marlon Smith, Jeff Nysonger. The 7, Punky Priscilla, is owned by Charles Emmerich and Rush, Jeff Fount. 8 is Hacker Hanover, owned by Melinda Bailey with Bill Irvin. The 9 is Dandy Randy Score, owned by Calvin Lamb with Russ Swartz. And the 10 is Over's Technique on by Willard Miller with Willard Miller driving. Post time in 7 minutes. And they're off. Lookout Blazer from between horses, a little bit rowdy towards the inside, followed by Bearcat Sabre driving up from 3 wide, Dandy Randy Score. Punky Priscilla settles in 5th, 2 in front of Heart of Gold Cosmos. The gap is then 3 to Over's Technique, followed by Ask Me About It. Next in line is Doug's By, and the breaker Hacker Hanover is last. About 20 lengths cover the field, going off stride on the turn. Dandy Randy Score as they trot by the opening quarter in a quick 28-3 in front of the stands for the first time. And Dave Hawk shows the way with a little bit rowdy. It's a length. Driving up on the outside, Bearcat Sabre to challenge and take over under the wire with 5/8 to go. Lookout Blazer back to 3rd. Gap of 5. A rough-gated Heart of Gold Cosmos moves up on the outside in 4th. Punky Priscilla back to 5th. Gap of 3 Over's Technique, followed by Ask Me About It. 2 more to Doug's By. Hacker Hanover, and back trailing the field as they race around the turn is Dandy Randy Score. Well strung out to a half in 58-4, rounding the turn into the backstretch. Bearcat Sabre is on the point now. Leads a little bit rowdy by 2 lengths, with Heart of Gold Cosmos still gaining ground on the outside 3rd. Lookout Blazer is 3.5 off the tempo in 4th. Then it's about 8 lengths back to Punky Priscilla. Then it's Over's Technique moving up alongside of that one. 2 more to Ask Me About It, followed by Hacker Hanover. Then it's Doug's By as they race into the far turn. Leading the way, Bearcat Sabre by 2. A little bit rowdy. Heart of Gold Cosmos is beginning to tail off, followed by Lookout Blazer. 128-3. Trotting to head stretch. Bearcat Sabre leads the way. Bearcat Sabre by 2. A little bit rowdy. Heart of Gold Cosmos and Lookout Blazer as they trot through the stretch. And Kurtza goes to work on Bearcat Sabre, leads it by 2. A little bit rowdy, late trot. Lookout Blazer down along the rail. Bearcat Sabre, Lookout Blazer is flying. Bearcat Sabre, Lookout Blazer getting up. Then it was Bearcat Sabre and Heart of Gold Cosmos, 159. Ninth race is now official. For one exact at $22.40. The try 413 132.80. Back in the winner's circle, Lookout Blazer, a 6-year-old son of Carry the Message out of Dream Academy by Chiola Hanover. Owned by Colors Hope and Rice. Tom Hope trains and drives the winner. 5 for 10 this season. Lookout Blazer, 159. Season's best, a lifetime best for Lookout Blazer. The 10th one is Shelby Swinger, owned by Robert Davis with Tony Hall. 2 Town Dog, owned by Alice Kidd. Roy Wilson drives. 3 Howard Jackson's Falcon Jackson and Jack Daly. 4 Gadget Man Ed is owned by Steve Kaufman. Kane Kaufman drives. 5 Bocam, owned by Horner Racing Stables. Jeff Fout. 6 Good Allegris, owned by Stephen Watkins. Bob Harper drives. 7 Crazy Canuck, owned by Patricia Rothar with Dave Hawk. 8 Amolator, owned by Walter Allison, Darren Mauser. 9 Yankee Dragon, owned by Philip New with Jeff Neusonger. Off the second tier, 10 Fur Fun, owned by John Williams with Greg Grismore. Post time in 7 minutes. Field of 10 lining up in the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. Shelby Swinger from the inside is out quickly. Falcon Jackson from alongside second. Gadget Man Ed Bocam is 4 wide. Followed next by Town Dog in 5th at the rail. Next in line, we come to Crazy Canuck, who's looking for a seat. Fur Fun. Then it's 2 lengths farther back to Good Allegris, followed by Yankee Dragon, and 5 lengths back to Aimolator as they race to head stretch for the first time. Mad Scramble for the early lead. Shelby Swinger on the inside has Gadget Man Ed challenging on the outside. They're past the quarter in 29 seconds flat. In front of the stands for the first time. Gadget Man Ed clears the top, but here's Bocam up to challenge. Shelby Swinger back to third. Falcon Jackson settles in fourth. Length and a half, Town Dog comes to the outside fifth and flushes out Falcon Jackson there. Followed next by Fur Fun, racing around the turn on their way to halftime. Up top, it's Bocam. Bocam by 2, Gadget Man Ed. In gear on the outside is Falcon Jackson. Halftime 58-1. 29-1 in the second split as they round the turn into the backstretch. Bocam by a length. Falcon Jackson on the outside, pressing from second. Gap of 2. Gadget Man Ed is third. Shelby Swinger jammed up fourth with nowhere to go. Town Dog moves up alongside. Fur Fun on a charge from 3 wide. Then we come to Crazy Canuck, Good Allegris, and Yankee Dragon. 5 lengths back to the trailer Aimolator. They're at the 3/4. Hooked up on the front end, Bocam and Falcon Jackson. 3/4 in 1:27-4. Moving around to the top of the stretch. Bocam 3 parts of a length. Falcon Jackson the outside second. Gadget Man Ed is in the pocket. 3 wide is Fur Fun. Town Dog sandwiched in between horses. Followed by Shelby Swinger way down the rail as they make their way into the stretch. And they're all chasing Bocam through the final 16th. Bocam a length. Gadget Man Ed. Falcon Jackson is all done. Shelby Swinger way down the rail. Far outside Crazy Canuck coming to the line. Shelby Swinger gets up to win it. Then it was Gadget Man Ed, Bocam, and Yankee Dragon. Back to the winner's circle, Shelby Swinger, 6-year-old son of Run the Table out of Graceville Swinger by Southampton V, owned by Robert Davis, trained by Mike Hogan Jr. Tony Hall is the winning driver. First win this season for Shelby Swinger, 158-3. 1-4 exacta, 114.40. The Super paid on a 1-4 all. 1-4 all. 557.40. 3 of 3 in the late pick 3, 542.20.